There's nothing easy about starting a company, and I think that it's just like anything. You have to create your own opportunities. But I think there's enough of a framework here. If you are a go-getter and you're resilient, then you're going to be able to start something.
St. Louis, Missouri, gateway to the West, home of the iconic Arch, and at one point, the home of 19 Fortune 500 companies. But after decades of mergers and offshoring, that number has shrunk to 9, which has profoundly altered the city's economy.
We've had Anheuser-Busch get bought by InBev. At one point, we had McDonnell Douglas, which got merged with Boeing.
Like many of its neighbors in the Midwest, the city has faced population decline, which has substantially drained its talent pool.
A group of people just started saying, look, we've got to grow some more stuff here if we want to keep the employment base up.
And so Arch Grants was founded to really provide incentive through $50,000 equity-free grants and a host of support services through angel vendors to really say to entrepreneurs, look at this market and consider building a brand in St. Louis.
Since its founding in 2012, Arch Grants has awarded $4.8 million in grants to 96 startups. In 2014, St. Louis had the second highest rate of startup creation in the country, and between 2011 and 2015, monthly startup revenue more than doubled.
What motivates my team and me is that potential to rebuild something together, but to fashion it through a lens of inclusion, of equity, and that's essential to our program, where we have maintained a very intentional effort to include women and minorities and historically underrepresented populations in a competition.
The organizations that are here, we walk in lockstep, especially when you talk about diversity and inclusion.
Dr. Cheryl Watkins-Moore is the director of Bioscience and Entrepreneurial Inclusion for BioSTL, a nonprofit that encourages the growth of STEM startups in St. Louis.
Diversity and inclusion initiatives are important. It's not a nice thing to do. Inclusion and diversity drives economies. I think that's our role, to make sure that folks who do get engaged here understand, again, that they have a seat at this table and they're welcome.
Okay, so here's what I think we should do for next steps. Whenever we
Ellen Prinzi is the founder of Olio City, an Arch Grants recipient. She credits the city and its support system for enabling the development of her City Guide app.
So the Arch Grant was even to this day, the single best thing that ever happened to my company. It introduces you to the St. Louis startup community, the investor community as a whole, and it really gives you the confidence. It was our first, okay, we have something here. We're moving in the right direction.
Many St. Louis startups also find support in the form of low-cost office space from T-Rex, a collaborative workspace supported by nonprofit and corporate sponsors.
This is where Arch Grants is headquartered, and after you win an Arch Grant, most of the companies take up residence here. So there's a great pool of talent.
Zoe Scharf first arrived in St. Louis as a student at Washington University. A vibrant underground art scene convinced her to stay after graduation and build an online gift startup.
I met people who really were cheering us on and supported us and introduced us to great people. And while doing that, I started to compare some notes with friends and family who are doing this in the coast and San Francisco, New York. It's a lot more expensive, and there seems to be just a little bit less support. People here just really want to see you succeed, and there's something to that. There's something to feeling like everyone's got your back.
In a lot of the bigger cities, they simply just do not have that community feel. Mentorship is a lot harder to get. We started looking at cities with a big healthcare presence, but also a city that has a young tech startup scene. And of course, we came here because of Arch Grants too. It just made sense for us to move here.
We just launched in St. Louis, Chicago. We're about to launch in 5 more cities. Olio wants to be that first big winner in the space. I think everybody here is kind of secretly hoping it's them. I took advantage of everything the city had to offer.
Hi, I'm Ellen Prinzi. I'm the founder and CEO of Olio City.
The entrepreneurial spirit that was here is really what gave me the confidence to know that I could go down this path, and I'd credit St. Louis with that.